You're listening to the Pool Builder Marketing Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping your service-based business grow and thrive using the latest technology in internet marketing. And now, here's the host of our show and the CEO of Grow Inc., Matt Law.
All right, everyone, welcome to another training episode. And in this episode, we are going to talk about killing it with SEO, links, and content marketing. So this is going to be all about Google organic SEO for service business. Just a quick reminder, if you are new to the podcast and you skip down to this episode, I'm going to be talking about in this episode part of the marketing arsenal, but it would be super helpful if you went back and listened to the training in order, which is my suggestion. So we have a lot of episodes, and normally when you're listening to a podcast, you're like, hey, let me just pick what I want. But this is a training that builds on itself. And so you probably want to start with our first introduction about the 4-step marketing formula. So with that said, let's jump into our training. And here is the question I hear from a lot of business owners, a lot of service business owners. They're saying, how can I get free traffic to my website? And so there's options, right? There are Google ads and Facebook ads and, all of these ads you could do. And then if you want to spend money on ads, that's one way to get traffic. In our last episode, we talked about local search and local marketing and getting listed in the map section. And that takes money as well. Like you've got to work to do things the right way to get listed there. But then there are the amazing organic listings, which are search results that don't say sponsored on Google. And so what we're going to be talking about today is not the ad section, not the map section, but it's the next section. It is the free organic listings. And so that's where we're going to land in this. And so I want to tell you right away, you may have a nice website. Your website may even be pretty good at converting leads and generating calls. But how do you get traffic? I mean, a lot of free traffic. And what I'll tell you is we're going to train on Google Ads and we're going to talk about that, but they are expensive and it costs a lot to get people over to your website. If you do Google Ad local sponsored listings or certified, Google certified, those also you're paying per lead or per call. And sometimes you're even sharing on social media, but people, how do you get them to like your page and to follow you? And then actually, if they do like your page, how do you get them to click over? And so probably if you've got a decent website right now, when you hired a website team, you wanted it to rank well and you wanted to say, hey, I want an SEO friendly website. And they told you that your website is SEO friendly, but they lied. And because SEO isn't just based on your website, its design or some code on there, there's a lot more that goes into it. And that's what we are going to talk about in today's training. So I will tell you that it takes a lot of work to get traffic to your website. And it does cost money to get this free traffic from Google Organic. And this process, which I'm sure you've heard about, is called search engine optimization or SEO. In our training today, we're going to go through what is needed. And so if you're driving, you may want to come back and take some notes on this. But I'm going to be very direct in exactly what you need, what we do for our clients. So the first thing that goes into SEO is your website. And so if a client comes to us and their website is ugly, we usually almost always we're redoing websites as part of our package unless it is amazing. And even if it's amazing, it probably isn't fast or it probably isn't SEO friendly. So sometimes we still will redo it and just take their content and their images and make it beautiful again, but on a faster server. So the first thing that goes into it is you have to have a healthy and a fast website. And it especially must be mobile friendly and look great on mobile devices. And that's why we suggest Duda websites. And we've already kind of done a training on that before. They're fast, they're mobile friendly, and they're pretty easy to optimize for SEO. So here's what I will tell you about your website. And you're saying, well, Matt, how do I know if my website's healthy? It looks good. But that's not what a healthy website is. And so there's a free tool called Google Search Console. And what we do is we put all of our clients' websites on there. And basically, it tells us what's going on with the site. If there are any broken links, these are called 404 pages. If there are pages that aren't indexed, it will tell you about speed issues. If the website is mobile friendly, it'll tell you all of your errors and broken links. So what you want to do is you want to start with speed and health. And once you have a healthy website, that is something that you can build on. And so for your service business, when you hired your website builder and you spent that money with them, more than likely it's probably built on WordPress. If it's built on something else, that's would be surprising, but most developers are developing on WordPress. And for 10 years, we developed on WordPress. But again, there's major issues with security. There's major issues with speed and plugins and updating and all of that. And eventually we switched over to a platform called Duda, and I have never been more happier. It's a really fantastic platform. Once you have your site optimized on site and you've got it healthy, and everything's looking good, the next thing that you want to do is you want to perform on-site SEO on the pages. So healthy website, number one. Number two is on-site SEO. And this has probably been done for you if you hired an SEO company. Like you met a guy and he's like, for $500, I'll do SEO on your website. This is what they probably did. They did on-site SEO. And so basically they go in and they update H1s, which are the headings. And it's basically for your keywords that you're trying to rank for. And so on your website, there's going to be H1s, and then there's copy, there's content that has been written. And so they may have updated the keyword density, which is how often they use that keyword in there. And they're probably fixed some errors on there or any issues. But remember how I shared previously when we were talking about the Duda website builder. I shared with you how that you should have pages set up for each service that you offer, and it would have a form on there. Well, what we suggest doing is optimizing those for your region or area. So, maybe you're in Dallas. Let me just give you an example. And so you've got maybe 4 or 5 different services. And so your page title would be, for SEO, would be Dallas Service 1. Dallas Service 2, Dallas Service 3, depending on what what services you're offering. So it could be Dallas Vinyl Fence or Dallas Pool Contractor, or these are examples of the services that you could have. So what we would do is your homepage obviously is the biggest, hardest page to rank for, but we would add those additional pages. And on there, we would do the right keyword density. We would basically use your H1s and put that in the site, update your meta description, your meta title. This is all of the things that are in the code of the page, which will help it rank. Also, another thing that's really important is the URL. So it's www.yourdomain.com/Dallas Service 1, whatever that is. You have to name the page in the URL. That also tells Google what's it about. So most of your site may be SEO friendly. The only way to tell is to look at it and analyze it with a couple different softwares that we use. There's lots of SEO tools. We use kind of a private label tool, so I can't really share that with you. It's not that that's not that common in the industry, but there's tools like a Web CEO that you can to audit your website. In our last training, we talked about Bright Local. And they can also audit your website, and that tool can scan it and tell you the things that are wrong. When you start with a healthy website and you build it for SEO, you're going to have a healthy website, and then you're going to go in and you're going to create the pages for the keywords that you want to rank for. The other thing that goes into SEO, and this is why you may have thinking your website's super healthy, you've hired on-site SEO companies, and you're still not ranking for your keywords. And it's most likely because you haven't participated or purchased links offsite SEO. And these are links from other websites that link back to your website and your content pages. And so offsite SEO, I've been doing SEO a long time. So in 2009, 2008, 9, 2010, you could pretty much build links and build a ton of links, and whatever you built in links, your website would rank for. And then Google did this major crackdown. If you may not be familiar with it, but it was called the Panda and the Penguin penalties. And they really cracked down on companies that built links, because you could basically build links and rank for anything. And just like in local search, our last training, Google doesn't tell us their algorithm. They don't tell us how they rank pages. We know that they want healthy websites. They've said that. And so getting the website healthy is important. We know that they want to serve relevant pages. And so if someone is looking for a service business in Dallas and the page is about that, the content's about that, the site is healthy, then we know that's good. But how they identify a website as popular or should be ranked is based on other people linking to them. And so what we do is, and I'll tell you, like in SEO, there's white hat, there's black hat, which is like, screw Google, we're going to, do everything we can to cheat and break the rules. And then there's what is called gray hat. And so we use what most SEO companies do is called gray hat, and we build content links. We pay for them. And Google doesn't want you to do this. They will basically say, hey, you shouldn't be buying links. If you create great content, people will link to it. But here's what I know. If you own a septic business, how many people are linking to your website? Oh, what a great job they did. Like they're not doing that, right? So some service businesses, they're not building links, but there are ways that you can build really high quality links and create great content, have it linked back to your website, which will help you. And that is called offsite SEO. So kind of want to give you a couple of ways that you can do offsite SEO. So there's companies that will reach out to bloggers and like blogs that are in your industry. So whenever we build links, we are in the home renovation, home contractors, anything to do with local service businesses working with homeowners. We will work and build links. We'll reach out to blogs that have to do with like home improvement. And then if the link is going to a flooring company, maybe it's a Dallas flooring company, and we're trying to do like Dallas hardwood flooring contractors, we'll make a blog post that's all about hardwood floors. And then it would link back to that client's page. And as you build those links, the rankings go up. So one of them is called the blogger outreach. And basically you pay per link, and it can range from, $50 to a couple $100 depending on how good that link is. It's important to note that if you're looking at a link on a web page or on a blog, the actual part that is linked, that's highlighted, that you click on, that's called the anchor text. And so if your anchor text is, say, for example, screen rooms, right? That is the anchor text that's linked. Google looks at whatever the anchor text is and gives that higher value. So if we are going through a blog and they're reading it, and then the highlighted word or the underlined word is screen rooms, and then that links back to the screen room page for that company, that's going to boost the rankings. And so with offsite SEO, because it is considered gray hat, and I would say very light gray, because Google knows that people do it and they don't really penalize you for it unless you go crazy with it. What we do is we try to create great content. We build links slowly. We track rankings every month and see if we're moving up. And then once we build our content and have all of that done, then we just continue to build links as needed. Our model's a little bit different. So we're not building SEO like as a fee. We don't do that. And so we're not saying it's $1,000 a month for SEO. That just doesn't happen in our business model. But what we do is, because our clients only pay the wholesale rate, what we pay for things, a lot of times we will build links and then we won't need to build them for 6 or 8 months, sometimes for a year. Because if you're ranked number 1, 2, or 3 in organics, you don't need that. So by looking at your rankings, you basically can see, hey, well, okay, this keyword's going down a little bit, and then we'll build a couple links. It'll go back up. So this is done on a monthly basis. So it's reviewed on a monthly basis. But once you're ranking, you don't need to do that. So I want to kind of recap the 3 parts we've talked about. 1, super healthy website, no errors, Google console, have everything running fast, looking good on mobile. And obviously it needs to be a nice site. Number 2, on-site SEO. And this is the code on the page and the words on the page, unique content, enough content, all of that inside that. It also could be internal links, how you link structure inside, but there's a checklist, a lot that goes into on-site SEO. And once the site is healthy, and once you've done on-site SEO, we run rank checks and say, hey, where's this company ranking at? And then we go back and we build links, which is called off-site SEO, reaching out to bloggers and getting them to, or a lot of times it's us writing the blog and publishing it on their site. And then that link is pointed back to the page that's ranking. Want to use that right anchor text. And then that page, checking every month, we'll see it go up. Now, what I've told you is not rocket science. It's what SEO companies do. Good ones, that I should say. They'll make sure the site's healthy, do on-site and do off-site SEO. And maybe that's like $1,000 a month, or maybe $1,500 a month. And that's what they'll do. And it's a profitable business. But what I want to tell you is that they have left out the most important thing that you could do. And so I'm going to give you a big secret, and probably one of the most valuable things I'm going to tell you in the podcast. In order to rank for a keyword, you have to have content. In order to rank for a specific keyword, you have to have content. And so in your area, there's probably lots of cities that you service. And I'll just give you an example. My town that I live in is called DeLand. Outside of DeLand is Deltona, is Orange City, DeBerry. There's all of these towns around. So most companies rank for whatever town they're in, but they don't rank for the towns they serve. So the secret is, if you will go out and you create content for the other cities you serve, and I'll give you an example. Instead of saying DeLand Screen Room Contractor, you make a new article called Deltona Screen Room Contractor, DeBerry Screen Room Contractor, Orange City Screen Room Contractor. Now, instead of just having one article for our main city, what if we created all these other articles? Google has to rank something. So they have to show content for what people search for. And so by creating that article, and just like I gave you that example, if you create good content, long content for every service you do and for every city in the area. So if you service 10 cities for screen rooms for your aluminum business, or you service 5, cities for your pool business, you're going to have a piece of article for every service and every city. So if there's 5 services you offer and 5 cities, that's 25 pieces of content that would need to be created for your business. Probably there's different ways people search for that, so it could even be more. My guess is your website probably has about 7 pages. On average, our clients have over 100 pages because we are creating content for the keywords that people are searching for. and it's kind of put into a blog. And we kind of do it in a cool way that when people land on that page, they are going to see a quote form. They're going to see the content. They're going to see a picture. They're going to see our phone number. And here's what's beautiful is whatever keyword you want to rank for with your geographic area, by creating content, you can rank for that. So again, this is our SEO formula. So as we get a healthy website, new website built, we got the on-site SEO, we've got the off-site SEO, we're building links, and then we're going out and we're building content. And so our writers are writing 20, 30 articles the first month, another 30 the next month, and we're just knocking all this out. And then when we check the rankings for a client, almost every single keyword that we will create will be in the top 3. So imagine if you were number 1 or 2 or 3 for every city, keyword, and service you offer. That is creating content. So I'll give you an example. DeLand Screen Room Contractor. We have a client that's local to us that we've done this for. And so what I'll tell you is if you search for that, they'll be number 1. But they'll also be number 1 for Orange City, Deltona, DeBerry. These are our little cities that are around. And, there's 500,000 people in the area, but we want to get all of those. And so what we do is we create this content, and the page is called DeLand Screen Room Contractor. And so once people search for it at the top, they're going to see their Google ad because we're covering ads there. Then they're going to go to the map section, which we talked about in our previous training. They're going to be number 1 or 2 there. And then if you go to the next section, which is the organic, the free listings, they're number 1 there as well. And so when a client comes in and they see you in the ads, they see you in the maps, and then they see you in organic, they're going to click, and it gives you a tremendous coverage on the search, in the search engines. And so for each client that we service, we create a blog post, and it's titled whatever we want people are searching for. The copy in there is about finding the best DeLand Screen Room Contractor. And it's a good long article. It's got pictures. It's on an SEO friendly template. And really what it is, it's a blog post. And it's not something like you go to a main website, there's really about 6 or 7 pages that matter to a service business. That's what we talked about in our training about our website pages and Duda before. But you can add hundreds of other pages, and they can kind of be hidden away. And that's what we do. And if people land on those pages, these pages aren't in the menu per se, but they're visible to Google. And when people land on these pages, they go from the page called DeLand Screen Room Contractor, and they click on About Us, or they click on Request to Quote, or Why Us. And so it's a very strategic way of doing SEO. So you got healthy website, on-site SEO, off-site SEO. And then the last really big piece is using content to rank. And so if you want to rank for a keyword, you got to create content. And so right now there's a lot of talk in the industry about AI, and does AI or ChatGPT, artificial intelligence content rank? And I will say that we don't believe that it's worth the risk to do that. Now you could mix in some AI content, but I would suggest having a writer write that and put in personality into it. The last thing that you could do to boost your SEO, and this is a part, you can share links on your social media. And so social media is an indicator, like the people sharing your pages or liking your pages. That's an indicator for SEO as well. So you want to be able to share posts, and you want people to like those pages. And it helps. It does. It really makes make your rankings get better. So here's some common questions that I get all the time about SEO, and how much should I budget for SEO? And first thing I want to tell you is you should spend as much as you can. And that sounds kind of weird, but the ROI for SEO is huge. You may spend I don't know how much we spend for a client on there. You're looking at articles. Let's say the articles are $40, and we got 50 articles that we're going to do. So we got if we're doing 40 articles times $50 each, you're spending $2,000 on that. That would be, that would cover you for probably 2 years. You're going to get jobs off of that right off the bat. If you're spending a couple $1,000s on links that year, maybe that's $4,000. And website healthy, even if you spend $10,000 that year, that's probably $300,000 or more in profit or revenue. No, I should say, but probably 30 to 50,000 in profit. So you can't go wrong with SEO if you do it the right way. So, I would basically say you could easily spend, for some companies, you could spend 10,000 a year. Like I'm talking about doing it like wholesale, like what the suggestions I gave you, if you did it yourself. If you spent that 10,000, you could probably generate an extra $1 million. And so that's one thing I would say, definitely it's a big part of service business. Can you mess up SEO? Yes, you can. You can build too many links. You can build cheap spammy links. You can mess it up for sure, and you can get penalized by Google. And once you're in the penalty, it's really hard to get out of it. So that's why I say you definitely want to make sure you interview someone, and they should know what they're doing. But I kind of gave you the blueprint for what you should be kind of doing. So hopefully that helps. Another question I hear is, should I hire an SEO company? You should. You could. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. But there's a lot of times that SEO is very, very profitable and it doesn't take a lot of work. But the problem is you're going to spend a lot of money with them and they're going to lack skills in other areas. So I mean, this is going to sound like promotion, but I would suggest hiring someone that can do all of your marketing, that specializes in working in service businesses. Even if you don't hire, Grow Inc. or you work with us, we do all of these things, obviously, as you're learning about that. But if they know how to do, even if they just know how to do like service business, local search, and they can do SEO, and you can give them some guidance on here, and maybe they'll do it for, $2,000 a month. Those two things you'd probably get a good ROI on. Like in our packages, we do everything that we're talking about in these trainings. And so what I just have seen SEO companies that look fancy and polished, charge a lot of money, and they're not doing links. And if you say like, hey, where's my ranking report? Where's my links? And they'll tell you stuff they're doing, but they're not really showing you any of it. I would just make sure you can see the work they're doing. Are they creating content pages? Are they doing social media? Are they building links? Where are these links at? How much do these links cost? And so when we use some of the like insider SEO, we have developers that they charge agency rates. So they're giving us the wholesale price. And so usually what SEO companies do is they mark up this price to you. And so you may be paying $2,000 a month, but the truth is it could be charging that company maybe $200 a month. And so there's huge markups in SEO. What we do is SEO is just part of our fee that we charge. And whatever we spend for the client, we charge right to the client's card. Say, hey, we're going to order some links this month. Is that okay? We don't need any links this month. And so we're actually doing what's in the best interest for the client. So it's a little bit different of a business model that we have anyway. So as we kind of wrap up our episode, I want to just remind you that we got some great free resources. If you haven't already downloaded our free book at Grow Inc., you can go to grow.inc. Yes, .inc is a domain name, and you can request our free book. It's over 100 pages of our 4-step marketing process to grow service businesses. You can get the book in digital format for your favorite reader. And if you want to listen to it, you can get an audio copy of the book. Listen to it while you're on the road. We also provide you with checklists for all of our tools that we suggest that our clients use. And there's also a DIY marketing plan checklist as well. It's part of our 4-step marketing formula, our process where we give away free stuff as our free offer. We just want to be helpful. And you're like, hey, you guys are training people. You're giving away free stuff. Why? Why are you doing that? And obviously, we believe if we help other business owners get to where they want to be and they see success, it's going to help us. And as people feel value from the information we provide, it's amazing. They call us and we don't have to sell them or put high pressure on them. We just say, hey, they're already educated. They already know all about us and what we're going to do, and they're ready to go. And so it's just a cool way of doing business for us, is that, we've got more clients than we can handle, and we don't have to put pressure on anyone to buy. So if you check out our free resources, know that we're not going to spam you and beg you to become a client. So we just want to cheer for you and help you win. And if there's a good fit there together, we'd love to work with you. So in our next episode, we are going to talk about social media. And we're not going to talk about it in like, hey, how do I post? I'm going to talk about how you can use social media to make referrals. And you can get referrals which are ready to do business with your service business, ready to spend a lot of money. And it's a way that you can create viral referrals for your company. So I hope you listen to the next episode. We're going to dig into social media and creating viral referrals. I hope you enjoyed this training, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today. We hope you found today's episode helpful and informative. For more information about Grow Inc. and to request our free marketing blueprint ebook and other resources, please visit www.grow.inc. That's GRO.inc. We'll catch you in the next episode.